What's up, everybody? We got the Long Overdue podcast here. We got me, Mac D, we got Drunk, and we got Ace here to talk about some important shit today. Trump bringing his butt buddy from Qatar, letting him put his bombs and his fucking planes inside the U.S. We're also talking about Netanyahu sticking his pistol up his ass with a fucking ceasefire. See how long that shit fucking lasts. So get ready and what's up, dude? What you got to say?
All right, so we got some crazy news coming out today. The U.S. announces it will allow Qatar to build an Air Force facility in Idaho. This is a report from CNN. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced on Friday that the U.S. will allow Qatar to build an Air Force facility at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho, which will host Qatari F-15 fighter jets and pilots who will train alongside U.S. troops. MacD, take it away. Tell the goddamn public why the fuck this is a horrible fucking idea.
It's just some fucking crazy shit, bro. Thank you for handing it off. These motherfuckers, first of all, fucking harbored the dude that was responsible for planning 9/11. Alright? These motherfuckers straight up got Donald Trump to bend over for them, stuck a fucking gold dildo up his ass. Donald Trump thanked him for it, and is now like, you know what, you fucked me so good, I'm gonna let you have your armed militants straight in fucking Idaho. First of all, why the fuck fucking Idaho? What kind of like strategic does like fucking location does that have? That makes zero fucking sense. Idaho, the land of what? Fucking bison and shit. What the fuck do the Qataris now want to have fucking bison steaks? What the fuck is the reason for them being in there? Is there no reason than just trying to buy influence in the area? You know, hopefully at a more secluded area that's probably like less fucking surveilled so they can do whatever the fuck they want, right? This is just straight up Trump got fucked so good he won't stop calling back. He's like that hoe you fuck, I won't stop calling you back. That's Trump. Okay? He got that D so good he can't stop calling back. So this is some fucking crazy shit though. Having people who obviously come from a government who is completely different from ours, but that's not even the main issue. The main issue is the fact that these people are more likely going to be not vetted. You know, they're people who we don't know what their intention is. They're directly military trained people, okay, whose intentions we don't know, who obviously have had strong ties to terrorist activity in the past, having nothing to do related to their ethnicity. And it's just like wild. Like, there's no benefit to the US for having this. Like, why the hell would we need to train them? And calling them their F-15s, who the fuck do you think gave them the F-15s? Like, who the fuck created the F-15? Like, it's just crazy. Like, the fact that they're trying to sell this, I really want to see how the administration is going to try to sell this to their incredibly conservative base, who they've consistently primed to be incredibly Islamophobic. From what I can tell, is like they can't even agree on what the story is. Like, if they're going to have a military base or just train. But even if it's just training, I think it's still insane because it makes zero. Why would we train a military who literally has like, opposing views to us and do that on American soil around American citizens? It's just a recipe for disaster. Qatar is trying to buy influence in the U.S., which they've already bought, right? But yeah, sorry for talking so much. I'll hand this off to Ace. See what your thoughts are on the matter.
So I have opinions. I think one
That's
reason
a pretty.
why
That's a very pretty way of putting it. I have opinions, but yeah, go ahead.
I think the reason they put it in Idaho, it borders Canada. Canada and the United States have a very strained relationship right now, especially because they are boycotting a lot of American products, which, you know, they don't have to buy our stuff. So good on them. It's hurting us, it's hurting our economy, but in a way they are helping us fight this wannabe dictator by just saying no to American products, even if it costs them more money to spend Canadian. Good for them, keep at it. The fact that they are putting that airbase there, they can easily have a training session go wrong and then somehow, stage an attack on Canada, make an excuse. And I mean, it'll probably start off like that. They'll have some Qatari F-15s fly over Canada's airspace, set off alarms, but basically they're just gonna be testing out the waters, kind of like what Russia does, what they're doing right now with other countries that aren't Ukraine. It's a proxy war. I think that's I think that's what it's going to cause. The U.S. is not going to take heat for it. It's going to be Qatar. When it happens, we're going to be like, okay, yeah, we saw that coming like months ago. And it's scary.
I think you definitely have the right idea. I think fucking Whiskey Pete is fucking off his fucking rockers right now. This dumb bitch that couldn't hold a signal chat down is just continuing his, fucking slew of fuck ups. The only reason why the US would allow a foreign military base on domestic soil is to not take the heat from doing something extremely illegal, like just some abhorrent shit. Yeah, we should definitely be worried because this is a way for the administration to enact certain terror threats that they don't have to be personally responsible for, even though that they're the ones personally responsible for putting the fucking goddamn thing in the first place. Why can't they just fucking leave Idaho alone, bro? What the fuck?
I know,
It's
bro.
just a bunch of fucking simple potato farmers out there, bro. It's a foreign manner of gaining domestic control in the western region of the United States of America. It's definitely going to affect us before it affects someone else, because
You know
Mhm.
what? I didn't even think of that. You're absolutely
bro,
right.
we can't fight back. Say all these fucking Qataris become fucking ICE agents, right, and start doing fucking drone strikes around here, right, in the US. Who's gonna fucking protect us? The military? We're fucking using a
Yo,
foreign military to fucking
dude, yeah, dude.
enact
Dude, I
terror.
did not think
So
about that, but yeah, like
Me neither.
20
It's
bucks.
yeah,
I
we can't.
bet that's what they're
We
gonna promise for
literally
training.
cannot do anything.
I
We
mean,
do.
Trump literally said he wanted to send the military to practice on like democratic cities, right?
Mhm.
Remember?
He did, yeah.
So it's like,
He said Democratic City should be training grounds for the National Guard and
yeah.
military,
So
which
I'm
is
pretty sure that he could justify that with the Qatari militants. And then like what are you gonna do? Holy shit, if that happens, like it's actually gonna be like some really bad violence and it's just it's gonna be horrible.
and it's
Yeah.
crazy because all it took was a private jet and a golf course. So like
Yeah.
anybody with who can give him a private jet
Yeah.
and a golf course, like what else are they gonna do to us?
Holy shit.
Like he's
Yeah.
so easy to bribe. Like that
Dude,
man has
dude,
no.
Oh wait, do you think it's a way for like Trump to kind of have like his own private army type of quote
yes,
unquote,
dude,
right? Because like
100%, dude,
he can basically just
100%.
say, "Oh, we're training them as like Qatari," and is he just hiring like mercenaries or like they're giving him mercenaries to use? I think that's like the main goal of this, right? What do you think? Because I think attacking Canada, yeah, that's a possibility, but that's just gonna ultra like put the U.S. like
For sure, yeah.
for
It's
everybody else. Why are we covering the freaking ceasefire today between Gaza and Israel? Netanyahu, or better known as Netan genocide, there over here. They be giving President Trump a bunch of credit, even though homie probably can't stack up 3 blocks. Probably can't even meet the milestones of a 6-year-old, but you know, he be taking credit for the ceasefire. So let's dive deep into what the phases are, what they mean, and what we think about what's actually gonna happen. Just to give a brief overview, there's currently 3 to 4 different phases about what's going on. So, phase one is like the immediate ceasefire, which is like what happened, right? You know, kind of like there's no more fighting, like no more bombings. Phase two is like the demilitarization. So, pretty much Hamas is expected to give up all their offensive weaponry and infrastructure, not necessarily to Israel, but to some like third party, you know, to ensure that the transfer is peaceful. And then the governance and the reconstruction. So pretty much kind of like, you know, giving Palestinians back their government and Palestine being recognized as like an independent state. Personally, you know, given Netanyahu is like a fucking war criminal piece of shit, right? That pretty much everybody except the most moronic in the US defense. I really hope that this holds. I really hope that this is long lasting and, you know, I really hope that it's done in a smart way where Palestinians are kept safe and you know, people on both sides are kept safe and a more accepting culture is brought about. I really hope that that happens, but just judging from Israel's prior behavior, especially like the people in charge of Israel, they're always going to try to come up with an excuse as to why to use military violence again. But I really hope I'm wrong about this. But maybe like, you know, during the rebuilding process, you know, there's going to be a lot of instability, obviously, when you're trying to rebuild a country from rubble. It's going to be a lot of opportunity for corruption, a lot of opportunity for mischievous individuals to do whatever they want. So it's a very easy way for Israel to sneak in and do horrible shit and then blame Hamas and then have another excuse for why to start bombing again. Who knows, right? Like we all know that the hostages weren't the true motivation of this. If not, Israel wouldn't have killed them. I don't think that Israel really got what it wanted, or at least the people in charge of Israel got what they wanted. I hope that, you know, the pressure from the U.S. is actually true and holds true and keeps the ceasefire for the sake of the Palestinians. What do you guys think about it?
I really do want this to be lasting. Given the track record, even like with previous presidents, more competent presidents, they don't last very long. The longest one we had like recently was 2 months. We can only imagine what the families are going through. Like every day losing a loved one, multiple, like entire families wiped out.
This is what I think, bro. I'm extremely pessimistic about this whole PR campaign that I think is what the ceasefire is trying to bring about. Yes, we should celebrate that it leads to the pause of deaths daily. And I don't even know if we can say that, because once you destabilize an entire region and force them into hunger, right? Millions of people displaced, starving, migrating, lack of medicine care, access to clean water, and essential resources just to sustain life, right? People are still dying every fucking day. Let's
Mhm.
be real about that shit, right? All we are is slowing it down. This is all diplomatic bullshit. This genocide has existed through half of Biden's administration. It's now October. Trump had 10 months to show that he actually gave a shit, and we continue to fund Netanyahu. We continue to table this war criminal, right, and invite him to the White House, right, and suck him off. No, I'm not very optimistic about what is to come. DJT himself said that he wanted to reduce Palestine to rubble to then build hotels. That's fucking
Mm-hmm.
insane. Yeah, they posted
Oh,
schematics of what they
yeah,
do after in order to
yeah.
just build
Trump
on top
Hotel.
of a society that they just bombed to bits. So no, like I think this is all just like PR bullshit. I also don't know, and maybe MacD, you can inform me on this, whether or not a ceasefire implies that there's no longer an occupation. Do Palestinians have access to the West Bank for trade, open flow of aid?
Legally and according to the terms, like aid is allowed in. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like, it's a 100% just a PR campaign to distract away from all the fucking horrible shit he's been doing with the crypto scams, with the fucking Epstein files,
Epstein
with the
files.
bombing everything. Honestly, when I hear Netanyahu talk, it's just fucking crazy. Like, whenever he comes on the screen, it's like I think the temperature in my room lowers by like 10 degrees. Like, I may start shivering. I'm like, this dude's a fucking demon.
What's happening in Israel is happening what is happening here, right? In terms of the
Yeah.
push and pull of virtuous people and people that have just natural affinity for physical nature. I've seen way too many Israelis in the state of Israel, right? Like grown ass adults fucking teach their children to like stop flower carts, right? From like making it over the border and like dumping it all into the street and shit like that. The cultural indoctrination has already started. It is already cemented in Israel to where I think 50% of their population is still
They're Zionists.
Zionists, yeah, 100%. We don't live in a time where people misplace hatred anymore, right? Like, hate
No.
crimes are committed deliberately and efficiently. That's what we should really be scared of. The entire cultural zeitgeist around this hasn't changed in their region. It hasn't even changed for us. There's really nothing to expect. Say Palestine does get to rebuild. We have to be skeptical about who stays in the region and for what reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're there way past needed, once there's enough infrastructure to sustain the population, if we're still there for whatever reason and we don't leave the Palestinians alone, then you better bet that the money comes in after that is in order to corrupt and then like create a permanent stay there. Not an occupation, but like a commercial enterprise that will lead embassies being built there, etc., just to take up space, right? Which is never good. Because
Just
after that stage, it's military bases and then it just keeps going and going and going. And then it'll eventually be a Trump hotel. And then we're like,
right.
yeah, we see. Yeah, we understand.
We saw it
Ceasefire.
coming.
Yeah. October 7th happens, right? Time passes. We get into the main race for the 2024 election. In the first attempts of Kamala Harris finally coming to fruition and taking a stance on the issue of Israel and Palestine, there was already 440,000 deaths by that point. We're now at like 660,000 deaths, right? In between politicians trying to attain power, Trump having it for 10 months and doing nothing, there's been about 220,000 deaths we could have prevented by making it the number one priority on our list, whether it's a Democrat or Republican come into power. And we did not make it a priority. We're too power hungry, we're too money hungry. The flow of weapons, keeping the military industrial complex fed, didn't stop it
Stop
until this
working.
point, right? We have the power to stop it, and we didn't.
Something that really pissed me off is I remember before the election, like during the campaign, everyone gave Kamala shit for not speaking enough about the issue, but neither did Trump. And actually, when he did, he lied
And the
one
thing
time.
is, like, we knew it was a farce. We knew this isn't a peaceful
Yes.
president. He already had a term prior to this. He had his chance during, BLM versus Blue Lives Matter, pro-life,
Mm.
pro-choice, right? To, like, take a humanitarian stance, domestically speaking. I remember that early on during the genocide, because the Democratic Party was being very milquetoast about everything, the first couple of issues that were stated coming out of the Middle Eastern region was that we rather have Trump in power because at least he doesn't lie to us. And when I heard that, I was like, you guys are absolutely insane. You have no idea what is to come from this fucking maniac. Now I wonder where those people are right now. Palestinian protesters showed up to Kamala's speeches recently, right, on her 107 days book tour. The first thing that came out of her mouth was like, well, why don't you go complain to the president of the United States, right? Because
Right.
obviously she had a plan, and obviously what you saw unfold up until this point was Donald Trump's plan. So whose plan do you prefer? right? Someone that's trying to stop the bleeding as quickly as possible, but might jumbo around semantics as they get there, or like a fucking dumbass that is just fucking lying to you straight up and is gonna allow 200,000 more of your people to die.
We already know that she's funded by APEC, but the thing is, the Democrats will definitely fold to pressure from the people than over like Donald Trump. It's a lot harder to get him to fold because he doesn't care about keeping the people happy versus Democrats.
Correct. Yeah.
They need to keep
Dude,
the
this
people
is the
happy.
point
No,
I've been trying to make too with identity politics. You know, Democrats will submit to political pushback during protest, right? We know that Kamala Harris had certain sensibilities that we might have been able to act on had she been president, that Biden would not. Biden was actually pro-police and was the person that in most recent history politicized the police department in order to stop encampments at certain universities while they were protesting this genocide, right? We knew that they were different and people claim that they weren't different enough. I'm just saying the results speak for themselves. You got what you got. Fucking watch what you say. If you don't know what the fuck you're saying, don't say anything at all. Because obviously one would have been better than the other. I think it's probably time to close out. We've
yeah,
recorded it long enough. All right,
I'll do it. I'll
everybody.
do it. You know,
Shut the
all right,
fuck up.
everybody.
Shut the fuck up.
I'll just
Shut the fuck up. No,
okay.
bitch. I'm
Okay, go.
all right. Can I go?
Go.
yes.
Okay. All right, everybody. So that's going to bring our second episode of the podcast to a close. I hope you enjoyed everything that we had to offer here today. I'm Alan. Come on,
Oh,
guys.
I'm
I'm
Ace.
Matt B.
Nice. Good job. Extremely professional. And
Long day
this,
today. Sorry,
and
it's
this.
long overdue.
Oh my God. What the fuck, bro? Let me do it. Let me do it. I swear to fucking God, let me do it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this is long overdue.
Have a good night, everyone.
Stop.
Later.
Stop usurping the end. Stop.